Good afternoon and welcome to our Coffee with session. Today, I'm delighted to have Søren Elmer Kristensen, CEO of Odense Robotics, joining me for an insightful conversation. Denmark is widely recognized as a global hub for robotics, automation and drones, and much of that success can be attributed to a thriving ecosystem fostered by Odense Robotics. The cluster unites global market leaders, fast-growing startups, and cutting-edge research to drive innovation and industry growth. In our session today, we'll explore factors that make the Danish robotics cluster so unique, growing opportunities for collaboration between Denmark and Germany, and the role of new applications in strengthening our industrial ecosystem. My name is Andreas Wenzel. I look forward to diving into these topics with Søren over the next 30 minutes, and as always, feel free to post any question in the chat and we'll address them during the Q&A session at the end. So the story of Odense Robotics is one of remarkable vision and collaboration, Søren. Emerging from the legacy of Odense Steel Shipyard, the cluster grew around a focus on industrial robotics, led by pioneers like Universal Robots. And today it has become a thriving ecosystem that not only supports established global players, but also nurtures startups and research initiatives. This transformation is a testament to Denmark's ability to adapt to changing market dynamics and create a unique environment where innovation thrives. It's this rich history and forward-looking approach that we will be discussing today. So, hi again, Søren. Great to have you here in our studio in Copenhagen. So, Søren, Denmark has, in a way, become synonymous with robotics excellence. What would you say defines the unique state of mind in the Danish robotics cluster, and how has it all evolved to stay ahead of industry trends as we see it today?
First of all, Andreas, thank you very much for having me here today. I've been really looking forward to discuss this subject. Of course, a subject that keeps me awake. I would like to say in the beginning, it's all about innovation and collaboration. And what do I mean about that? The robotics industry that we see in Denmark today has evolved from a strong industry ecosystem, but also from a strong knowledge institution ecosystem. And that's about the innovation. We need innovation to go to the market. Seen with the Danish glasses, so to speak, talking about robots, then we as a cluster, we originated from the island of Funen, the city of Odense, and way back, as you mentioned, the steel shipyard looked into how can we keep up competitiveness by developing new technologies. In this case, welding technologies that were flexible, used to build big ships. And what was needed to develop these technologies? That was innovation. Innovation created through collaboration between competences across industry, but also across industry and academia. And at that time, back in the 80s, that established a very, very strong mindset of collaboration between the industry, in this case, the Maersk Mc-Kinney Møller shipyard and the local university. And that fostered new innovation. New companies arise around this ecosystem. And when I said this is all about collaboration and innovation, when you're saying collaboration, you're also saying you need the innovative mindsets. You need the people with the brilliant ideas, the visions, but you also need the willingness of risk and the willingness of keep on also when it's tough times. So looking back 40 years from now and until now, you could see an ecosystem that for Odense started at the steel shipyard, but also when you look at with the national perspective, have been keep on working together, making innovation and creating the facilities that companies can collaborate with the universities and other knowledge institutions, get access to knowledge, get access to talent, get access to the market. Through this journey, we have seen some new technologies have risen. You mentioned in the beginning, Universal Robots. They are today a large robot company with around 1,000 employees. What made their business was a new paradigm within robotics, collaborative robots, you saw the robot came out of the cage, so to speak, behind
Yeah.
the fence. It's a good idea to have industry robots behind the fence because they are moving very heavily load, and also
Yeah.
you need to keep away from them. Keep bringing this new paradigm into play, having collaborative robots where you can work together with them. You can plug and play, so to speak. They are quite easily to install. That made a business for Universal Robots, but it also paved the way for a new paradigm of robotics at a global scale, but also for on a national scale for Denmark, because that also gave a rise to the possibilities for new companies. Now you have, this is an example, a robot arm. That's a tool where you need to put on tools and the end, and you also have to integrate it. So that gave the opportunity for new companies.
Yeah.
In this, you saw new possibilities, new collaborations. We also saw a local municipality saying, we have an opportunity here to ensure an industry in its growth. The companies, they said, we need a platform for collaboration. We also need a platform to ensure that we are visible, that you have, you would like to work here, you would like to invest here, so on and so forth. And then there was created a cluster to do so, to ensure that we have the facilities to bringing people together. That's actually our main purpose, is to bring people together, exchange knowledge, and make things happen that way. Companies said that for talent, but also for saying, when we have an ecosystem and we are growing, we also need to ensure that tomorrow's company is started. So having this talent focus, collaboration, and innovation focus, but also ensuring that the startups, they are nurtured in the right way, so they can get a smooth start in life, so to speak. When we are talking about deep technology startups, it also takes time. So we was set into play 10 years ago. Actually, we had our birthday, or what do you say, anniversary last year, 10 years, and had it with a local focus. That's the name from that time. Odense Robotics is to ensure this, and had a local municipality also saying this is important.
We're driving it.
Yeah, and so that's the next level of collaboration. You need different partners to saying this is our vision, this is what we want to do, and we're also ready to engage us in it in from the side we now can do it, so to speak. So that started at that point, having these activities, having a startup incubator, and proceeded as a local cluster for some years. And then with time, we became a national cluster, moved offices to the whole part of Denmark. So we are very close to the companies, we're very close to the knowledge institutions and to other actors. And yes, we are a national cluster ensuring national collaboration with a global outreach. Because when we're talking about innovation, we're talking about robotics, then we're talking about the need of collaboration across borders.
Yeah, fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing with us the unique position that Denmark, also thanks to Odense Robotics and thanks to a collaborative effort, has when it comes to robots and automation. Could you share with us some facts and figures of where we are today? Because we've heard that it's like a 30-40-year-old journey. Since 10 years or 11 years now, Odense Robotics is existing as a national cluster. But do you have any facts and figures about the robots industry and the automation industry in Denmark today?
Yes, when we are saying the industry that we are part of, we are saying it's robot companies, it's automation companies, and drone companies. And it's companies that are affiliated with the area in one way or another, as producer of robots, or in the one way or another, a supplier to the ecosystem, or could be, in one way or another being part of it. And when we are looking at that way, we are seeing around 600 companies in Denmark, smaller and medium-sized and bigger companies. When we look at the industry as an industry, I still call it quite young, in the way of there's many startups, many small and medium-sized companies. And we as a organization, we have around 370 members. And when we look at them, which we do every year when we do an insight report, not only looking at the members, also the ecosystem. That's why I could answer the question so specifically, and we'll also give you some more numbers. But saying, so we do an insight report where we so to speak, make the lines or looking at the landscape. What's the state of Danish robotics? And when we look at it, when I said it's a quite young ecosystem, the members in Odense Robotics, 20% of those they are established from 2020 or later. So that also tells us something about it's a quite young industry. In numbers, it's around. And now I'm saying numbers. It's the numbers we got last January. We're actually now collecting for the insight reports for 24. But we had a community of around 18,000 employees with around 4,000 employees abroad. A quite significant turnover, and that's just numbers you could say. So maybe not focusing that much on the total amount of turnover, but more when you look at them, more than half of the turnover in the Danish robotics industry is export. And when we ask the companies, half of them almost are exporting, and the half who's not exporting, they would like to do so. So just saying it's an industry that's born global.
It's a growing industry. It's a global industry.
It is. So, and then it's an industry that is what I call we are a technology cluster. We are, producing robots, but the environment is getting solutions.
Yeah, thanks so much. Our second topic, creating value through robotics. So how can robotics and automation create value for companies? In which industries is this already happening? What are prospective industries for future applications? How do you see the developments over the last few years here?
First of all, luckily we could say that both in Germany and Denmark we see a quite high level of automation. When we look at the global numbers, we can see that automation is supporting the productivity. It's supporting the working environment, so to speak, so the robots can work in dirty environments but also do jobs. You could say this is maybe known knowledge, but it's really important to say also in a time where we are looking into the lack of a qualified workforce, where can we support that challenge, or you could say solve that challenge with robots. And I said before, we have quite high level of automation in Denmark. When we look at the numbers for automation, we can see that larger companies, they're quite good at it, installing and implementing robots in production facilities and so on and so forth. And small and medium-sized enterprises also do so, but there's high potential because all the reports shows that bringing automation into your production facility, it will increase your competitiveness, but also by increasing your productivity. And also in a situation where we would like to get the production as near as you as possible. It's there's something about having a high level of productivity. Areas. We see automation and robotics in the manufacturing or the production area. Definitely, it came from there, still there, and increasing. The logistics also quite automized area where you can see mobile robots transporting items and other things from A to B. And when that is said, there's still a huge potential, for example, in the manufacturing sector, to introduce even more robots, to ensure that all the companies that have been installing robots, that they of course get the benefits of this, but it also ensure to showcase this to other companies, so they can see that okay, there are some steps we need to go through to install the robot, to get it implemented, and so on and so forth. And then I can actually see the benefits. So there's lots about awareness to ensure that the robots also are being even more used in known areas, such as the manufacturing and logistics sector.
Yeah.
Then we're looking into new areas.
Yeah.
Through the last couple of years, or many years, so to speak, there's been a quite increased use of robots in the agricultural sector.
Yeah.
We are seeing robot solutions developed for the construction sector. We are seeing within security. So we actually see a numbering of areas where we have either been used to robots and could see an even bigger potential to use them there, or new areas. And take, for example, the construction sector, where we do see more and more solutions, but we also see there is a culture paradigm for not using robots in the same way as you see it in the manufacturing sector, where you have been used to it for the last 50 years or more. So we also have a common task as a society, but also us as players in the ecosystem to highlight the benefits, but also the challenges by introducing robots and automation. Because what is equal for all sectors is that we are looking into the lack of qualified workforce. We are looking into the need for supporting green transition. We also need to look looking into supporting the work environment. And the robots are not the solutions for everything, but when we're talking these topics, there are definitely potential to be supported.
Yeah, very interesting. We have one question from the audience. What are the most important trends to watch out for 2025 in the robotics sector? So you already mentioned construction industries, new applications. Is there any new trends or new applications that you see on the horizon that are gaining momentum?
Definitely. First of all, it's important to state that we also have areas that is on its way and have been it for some while. This about now we have addressed this about having the robots at the manufacturing floor. Maybe it's not that visible for us as normal citizens.
That's right. Yeah.
But we will see more and more the robots also joining us as transporting goods and items either on the ground or in the air or on the water. So that's something I really look into also for 25, that we will see this, that we have been working with many years to ensure that we can ensure these synergies, that you have the technology, but they also can be integrated into our society. So we are having robots even more in close collaboration and interaction with humans. But we already know this from today. You could say when we know collaborative robots at the production floor, for example. But then we also will see this integrated into the hospital sector, into the streets, where you can support us by cleaning and doing other important tasks that then we then can use the human forces to do other tasks as well. Then talking about trends, there's also AI is not a new thing in robotics, but it gives new possibilities. The development that we have been seeing just for the last couple of years is also giving so the whole interface with robotics will develop. And then talking about trends is also very interesting to see the different platforms developing. For us being into the industry, when we are thinking of a robot, we see an item. It could be a robot arm or a platform moving around, but often we will see it as the robots we know from the movies and from the literature.
For sure.
And I'm not saying that it's a humanoid breakthrough in 25, but we are seeing many interesting applications that are more and more you could say one-to-one to things that we see either from humans or from the nature in general, right?
Yeah, very interesting. Where are you actually seeing challenges? I mean, obviously the implementation or the use of robots is often also connected with fears about job losses, fears about or issues about social acceptance. So how do you perceive these issues and topics?
First of all, I used to say when we're talking about robots, we need somebody to build them. So we need people knowing something about building robots. When that is said, now also addressed that we'll see robots more and more. For example, on the construction side, then you need craftsmen to work with the robots. So you also need people to both know how to work with them, but also have the willingness to do it so. And then the third thing, and that's what I call technology understanding. We all need to know what a robot can and will, so we have this acceptance that the robot is here together with us. So when you're talking about barriers, it's very important that we talk very open-minded about what the possibilities are with robots, but we also get used to them. And in Denmark, we have for a long time have support from, example, the labor unions, because they can see that the robots are not coming to take our jobs, they're coming to support our jobs, to support that we still have the jobs. So that's important understanding. And I would say that that's something that we are happy for, you could say, in the country of Denmark, but also very, very, very aware of that we need to bring this and ensure this in, for example, for the competitiveness of Europe, and that we have the common understanding that the robots. So we also see a common task in ensuring that this is actually something that support us. And now I mentioned the hospitals before. Many possibilities, the technology is developing more and more, giving us new opportunities, but we also always need to remember that people that are working together, either as patients or as staff. So this having the alignment with technology development, technology implementation, but also technology acceptance. So it's a major part of the value chain, so to speak.
Interesting points, definitely. And another question, and a similar one, came to my mind as well. We speak about competitiveness, obviously also international competitiveness of Danish, but Danish, German, European companies. And Søren Kuberg, he's posing a question: how do you see the Danish robotics industry's position in terms of intellectual property compared to big countries such as China and Japan? That's one part. And my part, and if I may, I would add, how do you see our competitiveness? Also talking about the US, we are having this discussion in media that we are falling behind as Europe when it comes to artificial intelligence. How is our situation when it comes to robotics? Maybe these two topics.
Yes, thanks for the questions. First of all, in my opinion, we have had are having a high level of innovation in Europe. We have been focusing on ensuring that we are putting investments into ensure innovation. We need to keep that focus and increase it, because talking about competitive position in the global market needs strong innovation. And as a country, but also as a union, we need to keep that and also increase that focus to ensure that we have, because bringing the knowledge we have a huge knowledge pool in when we take Europe as an example, and to use that for the competitiveness in a global scale, we need to even more focus on how can we develop new solutions on the one hand, because innovation is one thing. Next thing is also to ensure that they actually are implemented. So we also see the solutions are brought into play into both known and new markets. And I also see that we have a common task. So when I'm talking about awareness on a political level, it's also ensuring that we're actually having the facilities, the infrastructure to support both the development of the technology that can be exported, but also actually can be used. So we are, as Europe, using the benefit, or also exploring the benefits that automation and robots gives us. Absolutely. So, talking about intellectual property, I think we have, when we look at a global scale and the actors within robotics, it's widespread. Whether you can see larger business and industries we have some quite significant players in Europe. We should be very aware of how we both support those, but also ensuring that the high quality robots that we are producing in Europe, that we keep on doing that and supporting them in the best way. Because it's a high competitiveness out there. Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Søren. Maybe for our last question, cross-border partnerships,
Yes.
Denmark, Germany.
Yes.
How is the Danish robotics industry creating values for companies in Germany? Are there initiatives or success stories you can share in that regard?
First of all, when I look at the Danish companies and their export markets, then Germany is one of the largest ones, actually the largest ones together with the US. And seeing solutions within the automotive sector, hospital sector, robot solutions for welding. When we are looking at the major companies, the Universal Robots, Mobile Industrial Robots, but also smaller companies, Gibotech, who is delivering automation for the hospital sector, are active in Germany. I think that we could see even more collaboration. This is one thing, is to you could say share solutions that will Danish robot solutions can even more bring the German productivity or increase it. I'm pretty sure of that. But we also see that we have had some interaction with the larger companies in Germany, not robot companies, but what I call end user companies that either have automation or are looking into having automation. So bringing this end user with the provider segment together, that can increase the level of innovation, but also the level of automation in Germany and Denmark and in Europe in general. That's one thing. We also have a quite high tradition for collaboration between knowledge institutions.
Yeah.
When we look at in Denmark, we have the universities in Copenhagen, Aalborg, Odense, Aarhus, and Sønderborg supporting the robotics industry, but also looking at there's a cross-border collaboration. And I believe that there's even more potential in ensuring the exchange of knowledge that then will proceed to projects, but also areas of collaboration that could support both sides of the border in increasing automation in the Danish and German industries.
Yeah, very interesting. Fascinating topics.
Yeah.
Søren, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was a wonderful discussion about robotics industries in Denmark, how it came about, where we are today, and how also future perspectives and trends are looking like, as well as collaboration with Germany. And I think Germany not only as a market for Danish robots industries, but also as a potential partner to co-create solutions together that might also be interesting for the world markets. So thank you so much, Søren, for our talk today. And this is the moment to conclude today's Coffee With. The collaboration between Danish and German robotics sector offers remarkable potential, as we have discussed, and our conversation today has underscored opportunities and innovation that lies ahead. I'm also pleased now to invite you to our next Coffee With session on February the 4th, where we will welcome Stefan Giesler-Solvang from Innergy, recipient of our 2024 German-Danish Newcomer of the Year Award. Together, we will explore the critical role of geothermal energy in advancing district heating solutions. So thank you once again for joining us today, and we look forward to welcoming you to our upcoming sessions.